Right, okay, Punch Out Boxing here with Johnny Clark of Top Tier, launching the Diligent event 3 weeks from now. But gotta say, we're all so proud of you because you've got it.
There's no logo behind me.
The big television coverage from Dazn. My colleague Regan over there, he was the first to predict. I just want to give him a shout out. He predicted that you and Izzy Acid would get big TV deals, and within a couple of weeks of each other, you got DAZN on board. Can you just first of all tell us how that come about?
They messaged me. I messaged them plenty. I'm a fan, so I messaged them, getting on their case. They probably thought, "What's this kid up to?" Then it come to a big gap, and then GBM got announced, and I was so happy because I thought I've seen how much they invest as well, self-invest as well. Like obviously we all got sponsors, but believe us, we put a lot of money in. So it gave me hope that something would come for me one day. Don't get me wrong, I haven't got a deal. I've got a show on DAZN. So I just thought, I just want that so bad. And when I see them with it, I was like, I know it's coming. I just knew it would come because they had it and they showed it was doable, And then I read that obviously Frank was maybe going over to them as well as Eddie. And I thought they must just want all the best promoters under one roof. So they've got to have the best small hall promoter. I see Izzy and GBM as being a bit bigger than medium hall that everyone keeps calling us because they want the world titles. I'm not saying I'm going to have a world title on my show. I love my Southern area scraps, and there's a place for that to be on TV. And everyone always misses out on them type of fights. Like York Hall's got a really good name to it because that's where all the big Southern area fights are, and they're not seen. They need to be seen. So what better place for them to be seen on DAZN and on Top Tier?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's as it stands, it's just a deal for this show. But I'm sure it's a case of if they like what they see, they'll say, "Hell yeah, let's do this regularly."
Yeah, I believe they'll stick around. I hope they do. But obviously, I hope I get a budget as well because these shows, it costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money, a lot of investment, more importantly, all my time. So I'm going to want something to swing my way soon in the boxing world.
Absolutely. I'm sure when they see how good the fights are, they will want to. Because as you said, these Southern area title fights, some of the best fights I've seen live have been area title fights. They're better than seeing a hotshot prospect just knock over an import.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. My fights, my shows, all about 50-50s. Now, a lot changed along the way, but when the first card is announced, it's all 50-50s, other than the people turning over, making debuts, 1, 2, or 3 fights. But when you watch the big boys on all the broadcasters, it's them knocking over people or them just getting the rounds in. It's not really much of a challenge to see who's going to win. And I see my cards getting talked about quite a lot, like on the matchups, and that's something I'm really proud of as well.
And rightfully so. So we can talk about the card headliner, ELLIOT Whale. What a fighter he is. Him and Lloyd Germain. Great fight for the IBO Continental. Who was the original opponent that pulled out?
No, ELLIOT Whale was announced for an IBO European, but we couldn't get anyone matched for him. You have to be in the top 150 in the world to qualify, and the ones that was asking unbelievable money, and then we just couldn't get anything over the line for him. And then Ursu, he's now mandatory. We will be end of September for the main title, the Commonwealth, so he don't need the belt. So we donated it back to the show, and I come up with the idea of getting Lloyd in for ELLIOT and having a title on the line, because whatever it is, it's still a first title. Whether it was the European, Commonwealth, Silver Commonwealth, Southern Area, it's the first stepping stone in his career.
Yeah, just speaking to ELLIOT there, for those guys, that's probably the hardest bit when they're good, but without the big financial backing. They've got to first just get that something which makes the risk reward suitable for their opponents.
Well, whatever he's doing right. He's 88th in the world. He qualified for every belt nearly. It's the opponents that weren't, and they were good opponents. So he's got a real good record, mate. And this will obviously catapult him up a little bit more. And hopefully, Ursu, everyone keeps talking about as a future fight, but that deserves big money. Both of them deserve big money for that fight, and that will be fight of the year, and it will blow them both up. I could see it being a massive trilogy. I believe in them both that much.
Yeah. I think I mentioned it to ELLIOT. Okay, well, first of all, though, he's got to obviously deal with Lloyd, and Lloyd's shown he's decent. I mean, Connor Walker is. We've seen how good he is, and he took that on short notice.
Well, to be fair, Lloyd's been here the longest. He's come down, he's done his media work. He went York Hall last night, lost a couple of pounds sweating in there. And he's done right. He's networking, he's been down, he's making use of his situation. He's come the longest as well. He's come from Wales to be here. So, yeah, can't thank him enough, really. And like I said, when I announced that fight, blew the internet up. Never had so many messages.
Yeah, and rightfully so. Of course, the other top fight, James Ozzy Osborne. Again, you knew him from the white collar days. It's a dream. Could you first tell us what happened with the young hotshot Daskalu? Did he dodge James?
Don't know if he dodged him. I would, but I don't know if he did. But he vacated the belt, so whether he's got a better opportunity, and it weren't worth taking a risk because it's a massive risk. I know if I had a fighter in line to fight for something bigger, and Osborne was on my case, I'd say avoid that one. You know what I mean? So I'm glad he did get rid of the belt because now I actually get a title on my show that I've wanted for Aussie for a long time. You know, I was in this very hall when George O'Leary walked off the scales because he didn't do a check weight, so he couldn't fight for the title. But the fight was still there, 3 judges, but just no belt. And that would have been from the small EBA unlicensed shows that had led up from them days, you know, going back 10 years to this day. And he walked away. So now I said to James, I said, look, stick with me. I'll get you in a position. And now he's in a position to fight for his first title.
Yeah, and well worthy of it. Just on that, do you think does the sport still have a bit of snobbishness towards these guys from the white collar? I don't see the problem. I mean, if you're a footballer and you come through the non-league scene rather than, I mean, what does it matter if you're good enough? Whatever path you came through, it's all legit.
Would you fight Fabio Wardley? Would you fight James Osborne? I wouldn't. Well, I would, but I'd lose. But that's the thing, like, as long as you can box and as long as you're winning, because I'm telling you, the boys coming through, they're not willing to fight, you know, and Aussie's willing to fight anyone, absolutely anyone. So it's a pleasure to have on and easy to match. They said, John, give me a 6 to 12 week camp, you'll fight anyone, absolutely anyone. And I said, all right. And I matched him and I was like, yep, no problem. And then it was just a struggle getting Smith over the line with the board. But when I showed them how many people turned down James Osborne, they was like, bloody hell. I said, well, champion went. The 4 boxers you sent me all said no. Here we go. And they're so like, we're going to have a look at it again. And then I made a case for S.A. Smith, like his draw against Rivers. You know what I mean? His win against Alfie Gaskin, and his only loss was against, obviously, a matchroom boy who's unbelievable. So he deserves the fight. If you beat someone with a winning record and you're 3-1-1, then surely you deserve to fight for a Southern area. And he does.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Sam Smith, he's another guy. He's a farmer. He's isolated all the way out there in Cornwall.
That's the truth.
I mean, yeah. Again, his circumstances probably don't belie how good he actually is. If he was able to get proper time to dedicate, how good would he be?
Yeah, and this is part of it, you know, win this, and then he cracks on. He comes from a good family, you know. Wes, he's brilliant. Like, they're really involved, and I'm glad I've got him on. And I like the old school style of him. Like, he's a worker, he's a farmer. He can't drive 8 hours to come here, but he'll be there fighting. I know that.
Yeah, he's keeping us all fed. Apparently, springtime, he's concentrating on lambing. So any of us who like a steak, lamb steak, we've got to thank Sam Smith, who's is doing that to keep us fed. Yeah, talking of the matchroom boys, you've got another one, Lely Buttigieg, another young hotshot. Again, is this sort of a formal sort of relationship with matchroom now, or just informal?
Informal, nice and easy. I would have loved all the old boys back on it, you know. But it's boxing. Anything can happen. Anything can change. You can be sitting there twiddling your thumbs. You get a phone call, so-and-so's injured, fights off. Or you can get a phone call and get the golden ticket dropped in your lap. There's 2 matchroom boys want to come on, and then you think, how am I going to follow up that show? I've had matchroom boys on, sold it out, looks brilliant, good vibe. How can I top it? You know, and then you think, you want to lean towards matchroom for a little bit of help. And I thought, no, let me do my thing. You know, let me show that I can back that up with a brilliant show. Stayed strong, and then boom, another one come on. So yeah, just keep believing in myself, and I believe good opportunities will come.
Do you think that I mean, it makes sense that there is this sort of partnership, given that Eddie obviously is concentrating on these worldwide events. He's involved with Riyadh season, like the really big events. I'm sure he won't want his prospects to just sort of get left by the wayside, and that's where guys like yourself, Izzy, these other small shows, they come in use.
Yeah, it's a perfect pathway for me and for them. Said it before, it works well for everyone. I know Jimmy done well with his ticket sales. I done well because Jimmy done well with ticket sales. Matchroom didn't have to spend a penny, and he come through with another knockout. So everyone's excited when I announce a Matchroom boy as well. Like, they all jump on it, and I think I've got quite a good fight on the card, but they're excited because Matchroom, and I think, yeah, obviously so am I. That maybe help with the zone deal. So yeah, keep giving them, Eddie.
I mean, it's not just good from a finance point of view, but even just from the development, because a lot of these guys, like George said last time, that he wants to go the traditional route, the southern area and what have you. So they're not going to put stuff like that on an Anthony Joshua undercard, for example.
Nah, I mean, they had the Southern area on the Copper Bosch show, didn't they? That was quite fitting. It was a next gen show. But I think they would be nice to see a few more next gen shows. But I hope he don't do them and he lets me do them.
Yeah, absolutely, that would absolutely make sense. Got a couple of other fighters on there. Kate McLaren, interesting having her on. Lily Winch, a neighbour of mine. Even though she's young, she's already going in with Bet Connolly, moving fairly fast.
Yeah, tough work. Move up an opponent, down in weight, and she's coming a pro how you should be a pro. A little bit overweight, lose the weight, get more serious. Opponent gets better, ticket sales go up, and then I'm sure now, like she's doing Good Morning Britain News, isn't she? She's building her profile, good management. So I think she's destined for good things. And being a female is a bit easier. So yeah, a couple more of these, and then who knows what fight she'll be in next.
I'm excited by the kid Harvey Smith after speaking to him.
The unknown.
Because he says he's stylistically he wants to emulate James Toney, who was a fighter that growing up he was one of my favourites. So I can't wait to see him. Got Toomey Phillips. Some good youngsters coming on their debuts.
Yes, the thing about DAZN as well, they're getting to see boxers make their debut in small hall. They've never seen that on DAZN before, have they? They're seeing 50-50 fights in small hall, and plenty of them as well, whereas shows they might only see their prospect versus a well-matched opponent that they might definitely beat. Whereas on mine, you're seeing who's going to win. I don't know, just watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the fight that you're most looking forward to on this one?
Obviously, the main and co-main, but there's a tasty little number in Morgan versus Harley Collison. Keep your eye on that one. They've had a fight before on late notice for over 4 rounds. This one's over 6, and they're both training, and they're ready to go today. They've got to wait 3 weeks.
Okay, well, great way to start the autumn. Can you tell us what else is coming up, like for the rest of the year? Anything?
Just November the 30th. I've got the IBF European on that. Crocker, Papadopoulos, 2. Yeah, and I'm building a card around that at the moment. To be honest, it's built, but I want to see what happens on this show before I change anything.
Okay, as you said, I guess things can change with injuries and pull-outs and whatever. Any...
That's what I will say.
Ooh.
Someone leaked it.
What weight class?
Super middle. There was 2, but I had a couple of titles come on, so I dropped the welterweight title off, tournament off. So now we've just got a super middleweight tournament on it.
Exciting. It's quite a hot division domestically and internationally now. So
exciting as well. Exciting fighters. So yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Oh wow, fantastic. Any other things going on in the boxing world that you want to comment on? The Riyadh season, Turkey.
Trying to wind him up and take longer because he's standing it.
Turkey Al Sheikh mentioned.
Yeah. I will say.
I was going to say, Turkey Al Sheikh mentioned top tier, and you replied to him on Insta.
Want to give me some money? But no, listen. Imagine if they did invest, and being on DAZN, that I can be seen by him now, isn't it? He's going to know who I am. He won't know who I am. I think he knows Abdul, but he don't know me. And if I'm on the zone, maybe I'm in his eyes. And if people listen to what I'm saying, that the Academy of Boxing, Small Hall, I'm not competing with Eddie, I'm not competing with anyone that's bigger than Small Hall, I'm staying in Small Hall, then hopefully sponsors and Mr. El Sheikh, he might come on and help me out, you know what I mean?
If he really loves boxing, he should, because this is the foundation of the sport. So
We're doing it properly.
absolutely. All right, Johnny, absolute pleasure. I've got to say again how proud we are of you. So we'll see you in 3 weeks.
See you later, man. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.